What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Dr. Funk podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in live, for catching us on iTunes, on Stitcher, and the other places. Hopefully you guys are hearing me well. Give me the thumbs up with it. We did test audio with the guests, but just want to make sure that you guys can hear me. We're going to get to some good things before we bring on Jacqui Thompson, Dudley D, and Mark Bonde. All right. First thing we're going to talk about, of course, with what's going on in the world right now. Sure, a lot of us aren't doing too good, but that's okay. We're all in this together, as weird as it sounds, but is at the same time, you know, music brings us together, and now more so than ever, this is needed, and things like that are needed. So on June 7th, you know, we'll be talking more with Dudley and Mark about that, and Jacqui, what's going on June 6th this weekend. On June 7th, there is some news that's come across about the cross, with the quote name, "So each day should be a new beginning," which is a quote from Prince. Now, the artists that are going to be involved in the cross are a lot of artists that Prince has worked with in some capacity. You have Donna Grantis, Kip Blackshire, Mike Scott, Ashley Tamar Davis, Tommy Barbarella, Cassandra O'Neill, Ida Nelson, Sonny Thompson, Chris Bailey, Kirk Johnson, Frederick Yanné, Josh Dunham, Dr. Fink, Levi Caesar Jr., Adrian Crutchfield, Lynn Grissett, Marcus Anderson, Michael Nelson, Kenny Holman, Joey Rayfield, Steve Strand, Mono Neon, Morris Hayes, Maite, Tony M, and Chris James. That'll be going on, and we're going to have a quote about that later on in the show. And other things that you're discussing, I'll probably have another show to talk about. We're just going to keep this going on that. Can't wait for the cross as well. But what we're going to do is talk about the events that are going on this weekend and bring on my guest of Jacqui Thompson, Dudley D, and Mark Bonde of Paisley Nights. And of course, the PRN Alumni event that is going on this weekend and the Let's Go dance party. Here's Jacqui.
Hey, how you doing?
Here's Dudley, and here's Mark. Hey guys, great to see you. How are you guys doing?
Very good.
Great. We cool. Good to be seen.
All right, Dave Hampton already. We're gonna get to that. Don't know if it's playing on the same themes, but great to have you guys on. In this time that's going on, it's very nice to see these wonderful faces, and I hope that everyone else feels that way as well. Now, we do know more about the Let's Go dance party that's going to be happening, a 24-hour dance party this Sunday. And also, we do know about the PRN Alumni Foundation event that's going on. But Jacqui, I'd like to have you go into more detail about that. And basically, first, I guess, for people who may not know, what was your relationship with Prince, and then about what PRN Alumni is about?
Sure. Yeah. So I worked for Prince mid-96 through mid-2000, about 4 years, through after he had changed his name to a symbol, and was there when he changed it back to Prince. And so I started in the 1-800-NEW-FUNK little office, and ended up really running the show with a few people and the team that we had. We had a small team, and it was great. It was I could go into details, but you know, it was really cool. So.
It must have been so hard to promote him going by the symbol at that time, more so than 2000. Then he finally changes his name back to Prince, which makes things easier. But
yeah.
It was difficult, right?
It was. It wasn't difficult as far as communicating with him, but difficult in the sense of like media getting it, and you know, how to in that construct have a name that isn't pronounceable, and you know, getting the TAF cap up on a cryon on BET, and then I get the call from him, "My name isn't the artist formerly known as Prince. It's an unpronounceable symbol," at like 2 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, and having to go, you know, talk to get in touch with BET, which of course you can't at that time. So, but yeah, it had its challenges for sure. But you pivot, you figure it out, you create solutions, and you get through it. So
exactly, you got to be quick on that. And we'll get into. It's funny about the name change. We'll get into a story with Dudley about that later. Now with the PRN Alumni Foundation, the PRN Alumni Foundation, explain to that so people know, and we'll also hopefully someone can provide a link to that, especially for support.
Yeah, so we founded it in 2017. We had inspiration from our group event, private event we had in 2016, end of the year, to celebrate Prince's life. And a ton of people came, and it was just, we sold some merchandise for John Blackwell and for Michael Van Huffel to help. And that just kind of, the light bulb went on for us that we needed to keep moving this forward. So we started putting it together in 2017. By that end of 2017, we were, there you go, 501c3. And we've been really honing the mission. He was doing tons of stuff from, solar panels to, urban gardens. So we needed to really kind of pull our mission down. So it's, for kids and arts and tech and music programs and also urban farming. So he was really, when I was there, he became a vegan. And so he was very into eating well and organic food, and he had his own greenhouse on his property. So, we thought that was a really great. We partnered up with Taja Seville and did some really cool events and things like that. So we've given to Arts Feed program. Troy Gua did. He chose the arts program. We've given to music therapy programs for autism and people that just have that. So it's really, really cool. We've done a organic edible wall in Detroit downtown at a community center. So we've been doing some really cool stuff, and we want to keep it going. So, and it's really about his legacy in the philanthropic part. His music legacy is going to do what it's going to do. We're here to help move that other part of him with love and and supporting those type of missions. So that's in a nutshell. So
right. And the event that you have going on this weekend, Alumni Shares, that Sinbad is hosting.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting a name here with oh boy. I remember St. Paul. There's other people on that I'm forgetting right now. Mr. Fisher. Go on that.
Sure. So it's a tribute to Clare Fischer and the collaboration between Prince and Clare over 30 years. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty amazing collaboration of their genius put together. So we have Brent Fischer's on the panel, Clare's son. And he really took over. He was mentored by his dad and then took over the business as Clare started to get a bit older. And then we have St. Paul Peterson with the family. We figured that it would be a perfect segue to talk about, since it was the first music and collaboration that the family with Clare and Prince. And Arnie Frager, who recorded all of Prince's strings. He also owns the Plant Studios, and that studio is in Sausalito, and that's where Prince did his first album, recorded that. And then we have David Z, who produced the family record. So that's great. We were going to have Susanna on with St. Paul, but with her mom passing, it was just, obviously not. We understood that. So it's a great panel, and a lot of fun. Sinbad is just, he's Sinbad. He's just great. He's a great host. So it's exciting, and it's really, really a cool topic. Really interesting. So.
And with Sinbad hosting, that's going to be cool.
Oh yeah,
he's a great MC.
Yeah, he is, and he's also, I don't know if people know, he's a musician too. So he and he knew Prince, and they, so he's a percussionist and played I think St. Paul and they did a show together this year earlier on when we could have shows. So
Right.
So that's cool. But so that's in a nutshell. It's going to be really informative, and I'm so happy to have David Z on to talk to, and Arnie, and all the wealth of knowledge on the behind the scenes on that, and how it all worked together. It's very cool.
Right.
So.
And they can purchase tickets right now through the PRNalumni.org site and Facebook. How much are the tickets?
$5.
$5.
$5.
$5
$5.
Good deal.
Yeah, it is. It is. But we were going to do it live. We're supposed to be all in Minneapolis this weekend, and so we had planned to have these panels, and then also St. Paul and Susanna were going to do a performance with strings live.
Wow.
And I know it would have been amazing, but things happen. You got to pivot, and this is what we have, and it's still really great. So.
Right. That's very, very cool and great. And now we're going to get on, because not only with this weekend, we got Dudley D and Mark Bonde of Paisley Nights, DJ Dudley D in the mix.
Yes,
Who
sir.
had DJ with Prince for a while, and is going to go into it now. You also have some events. So this is going to be a 24-hour dance party, and PRN Alumni, also there's merchandise, special merchandise that you guys are selling that will be contributed to PRN Alumni, correct?
Yeah, today we just put up the site. It's paisleynights.com. If you go there, there's a Let's Go t-shirt and sweatshirt, and $10 from every Let's Go item that is purchased will be going directly to the PRN alumni. So
Awesome.
They can help continue Prince's legacy.
Yeah, and we both talked,
Congrats.
Mark and Dudley D. We all talked about really kind of creating a partnership in Minneapolis and finding. So we're looking into a sustainable urban garden of some sort to give that money to, because they're doing so much right now with food, and but in looking down 2, 3, 4 months down the line, there's going to be some shortages of food. So why not utilize some of the gardens that are there? And so we'll talk about that and find that right partner, and that money will go towards that.
Yeah.
Great.
Move
Really
the
great.
move the rubble and grow some vegetables.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and a lot of the stores that were, in these communities, I mean, they've just been devastated. So, I mean, that food piece, I mean, it's not just for today. It's moves on into the future.
Absolutely.
I think that's a great thing. And on the shirts, just people are mentioning it. We got Devious did the artwork, so David Schwartz did the artwork.
David.
So there's
We
a
got
Prince
to keep it in the
connection.
family.
Yes.
Yeah, so we got
Yeah,
to keep it tight. So y'all ain't know about the daisy chain or funky bald heads, check those, check that stuff out. That's old school. That's when you were there, Jacqui, right? Yep.
Just there. I know David well.
Yeah.
And David also designed the Studio A candles. So I had him do that.
Awesome.
So it's all,
And he designed our Paisley Nights logo.
So, it's all, it is
shout
all
out to
in family.
Devious.
Yeah.
We gotta
What's
get him
up,
on.
man? Yeah. So.
And then Tamir has this question for you, Mark. Is the humanized hoodie going to be available too?
Well, you got to go to their website, www.humanizemyhoodie.com. That's coming out of Minneapolis as well. Jason Soul, former convict, comes out, goes to prison.
Right.
And then goes to kind of this social justice oriented gear. So he's living in Minneapolis and doing all kinds of work. He teaches at Hamlin University here. Just real good guy. So get your shirts, represent.
Yeah.
Yes. And with someone's asking about the
Can't
events.
see the rest of it.
Yes. With the events they're asking it'll be televised or on Facebook or directly from the websites. With the PRN alumni, Jacqui, how will they be able to watch that?
Yeah, when you can go to our site, prnalumni.org or live.prnalumni.org, depending on where the link is. You'll go right to that, and you buy your ticket, and it'll pop up. You'll be able to watch it. So, but it won't be on Facebook or YouTube or anything like that.
Right. And Dustin, what about the 24-hour dance party?
The 24-hour dance party, the best spot to check it out is on Twitch, twitch.tv, Paisley Nights. You don't need an account to watch it, but if you have an account, which is super simple to make, then you'll be able to comment. So,
Right.
But anybody can just tune in. So yeah, that'll be twitch.tv Paisley Nights. Hit us up and follow.
It'll be on Facebook too. So, but the stream cuts out. So
right.
Twitch is the spot. But you can share it on Facebook. We appreciate the share.
Yeah,
of course. And now with Twitch, if you guys have a Fire Stick, the Twitch app is on there, so you can have it on your TV and watch it. And of course, you won't have to worry about your device. You can be in the chat and doing other stuff with your phone and have it on your TV and have the good sound through your speakers through that way. Just if other people haven't figured that out, they have the app on there.
Yeah,
now,
just turn it on and let it rock.
Exactly. Now, how did you guys come up with the title of Let's Go for the event?
Go for it, Mark.
All right. So, the big question for us was, what are we going to do on June 7? We'd been Paisley Nights had been doing the Manic Monday piece. We did some streams to Europe over the course of coronavirus. And the vibe around that was just, hey, just sitting inside, right? I kind of come back to, we've watched Tiger King, seen Ozark. Well, what's next, right? And as his birthday came up, we were asking the question, what are we going to do when we need to do something big? We knew there were other folks that were going to be doing various, streams, etc. We thought, obviously, there's going to be things that are out there. What can we do that's cool? What can we do that's different? What can we do that kind of represents the city? I mean, Dudley DJ'd for him for, the better part of 2 decades, part of that kind of Paisley Park scene. There's just so much music, so much stuff. And, we were just, kind of bouncing ideas back and forth, and then it just came, right? And I think the let's go piece of it was just kind of that energy, right? Like, let's go, let's bring up the energy, let's bring up the vibration, let's go. And then, you kind of add that all day, all night, which is another Prince reference. And then 24 hours, here we go. 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. We're going to be starting. Send some Red Bull our way.
Are you tired already?
Naps planned for Saturday. And it's interesting because, the person just said, great event to bring us together. We thought about canceling this thing, right? It's been pretty much a horrific week. We're from the city. Like, this is all of my life. This is my city. This is my space. My first house was right in that Hiawatha and Lake neighborhood. So my parents are real familiar with that. That's right by where my grandparents are. But the decision was really, how do you bring people together? And we got to have joy, hope, things that uplift us. So it became imperative. We were a week behind, but we're making it happen.
We lost some days on the live streams watching our city burn, but we're going to catch up, and we'll be ready to go Sunday.
It's coming at the right time. I think a lot of people need it, and the world needs it for sure. Especially if
that's what.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what Prince music does, right? It's what music does, but Prince music specifically, I remember times going into Paisley Park where you're just like, life is getting me down, things are hitting me, you're kind of getting smacked from this angle, that angle, and the music allows us to elevate, right? And if we don't have that elevation, we're not going to be able to sustain the fight. So, this almost has a greater purpose now than it did before, right? We want to raise the vibration.
Absolutely.
I'm in total agreement. We felt the same. We wanted to keep it going. We felt Sinbad would be perfect in having some humor. We've got to move it forward. We've got to push and help people. And stopping it, I just think people need this. So we really need it right now. Some positive
100%.
Yeah.
People better get their naps in before then. you got a couple days.
Never had naps. Now you got to have naps.
When you're doing stuff for him,
you didn't have.
When you're working for Prince,
you didn't sleep.
You
No.
you got naps in.
We've been training for this. We're good.
Yeah.
Exactly. He was training us for a long time. You get that call at 2:00 in the morning or whatnot, or the text, and then it's like you better have it posted within, or have it done within 15 minutes, or as soon as you can get it done. So doesn't matter what you were up to. Now, speaking of difficulty with the name change and the symbol, didn't Prince have a little bit of trouble with Dudley D's name at first?
He did.
True story.
Yeah, I'd been DJing at Paisley Park for a while, and I mean, it had to have been at least like a year or so. And anytime he ever talked to me, it was always just like DJ. Hey DJ, hey DJ. The story that I heard was from Takumi, and Takumi was in Studio A with Prince, and Prince said, "Takumi, call Justin. Tell him we're having a party tonight." And Takumi was like, "Call who?" And he's like, "Call Justin, the DJ." And he was like, "His name's Dustin."
Were you living with Takumi at this point, or was this before that?
I think I might have been living with Takumi at that point. Takumi and I were roommates for a while, so.
And Takumi's coming out. He's gonna bring us our top 5, his top 5 guitar solos from Prince. So we're gonna be playing those at. Dustin, you got the schedule?
We'll talk about it we can go across the schedule. I don't know if we want to do that right now or.
Yeah, let's talk about the schedule.
I'm just connecting who Takumi is because that schedule got out. So
everyone knows
Takumi was Prince's guitar tech.
Takumi.
Really? Everyone knows?
Takumi.
Everyone
Name
knows
rings
Takumi.
out.
Whether he wants it or not, everyone knows who Takumi is.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't want to go on any cameras or anything.
Yeah.
But he is going to give us his top 5 songs.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
So yeah, I mean, we can talk about the schedule too a little bit,
Yes.
Because we did just put that out just a couple hours ago. So I can kind of go over it. Mark, you can kind of jump in on some spots, and we'll just kind of explain on some things, kind of what we're thinking and what we're going to do. So obviously we're starting at 12 a.m. First couple hours, it's just going to be let's go. Like, here we go. We're kicking this thing off. And then 2 a.m. All these times are obviously Minneapolis Central Standard Times. 2 a.m. we're gonna do Dirty Mind. I think you can figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
And then 4 a.m. will be Alexa de Paris.
Not appropriate for the children.
Yeah. Hopefully your kids are in bed for Dirty Mind. But 4 a.m. will be Alexa de Paris, and that'll be kind of waking up our friends over in Paris in Europe. It'll be like 10 a.m. their time. And then at 5:27 a.m., when the sun rises in Minneapolis, we're going to be doing Welcome to the Dawn. 6:30 a.m. will be Let's Go Japan and Australia, because it'll be evening time there. So, throw a little late night jam for them.
We're going to be, just real quick, Dustin, on that one, we're going to get Miho. I don't know if y'all know Miho. She was one of the guests on Paisley Nights. Miho moved from Tokyo to Minneapolis so she could be part of the bootleg. Like, that's her whole story. She's like, I liked the sound. I wanted to be part of the bootleg I was hearing. So check out our episode on Paisley Nights. I mean, it's a great story of, someone that fell in love with Prince and then took some action. So she's from Japan, and she's going to come on and, to all of our Japanese friends, she's going to come onto the chat and
she'll be able to translate for us.
Translate, and it should be cool because we're trying to make this thing global.
Yeah, so that's the Let's Go Japan and Australia, 6:30 a.m. 8 o'clock a.m. we're going to do I Wish You Heaven. Mark, if you want to chime in on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like our church service, right? So we're getting into the morning here, so we're going to bring kind of that spiritual dimension of Prince and get a chance to kind of reflect on kind of those, he's got so many components that brought in God and his faith and his spirituality. So as we start the day, we wanted to kind of have that element of his music and to kind of represent it. So we thought, let's do this at, kind of the regular church service time. So join us if you, tell your friends, you come on to church. And I mean, that's what Prince did kind of on the macro level. You look at the Love Sexy. I mean, that dude was bringing folks to church. It is what it is. It's how he rolled.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Speaking of rolling, we just had an earthquake right now, so that's why I was just like, just shook a little
I
bit.
didn't feel it. I didn't
here
feel
in
it
the
yet.
San Fernando Valley. Yeah, it was a little bit of a roller.
All
thank
right.
God.
We're live. We're
Sorry.
live.
We're live, baby.
This is why I love live. You never know what's going to happen. Like, it's the end
I
of
was like,
time.
what's he doing?
Pandemic,
I was like,
riots,
An
earthquakes.
earthquake.
Sorry.
Well, I thought
Why
God
not?
was speaking to you. I was like, oh.
I know, I was going to say. Mark's over here talking about Prince's spiritual side, and then all of a sudden there's a little earthquake going. Okay.
No, I'm just saying.
Well, he's making
Can't
sure
make
you guys
that
are going to
stuff
play
up.
Housequake. You gotta make sure to play Housequake.
Oh, Housequake's going to be
Exactly.
not during that set, but
So, all right, let's pick up
Sorry
after
about
that
that.
earthquake. No, hey, man, I don't think it's your fault.
Yeah, I get blamed for a lot of stuff, so maybe it was. No, I'm playing.
All right, let's hope it doesn't hit stronger next time.
Let's get back on it.
So
with the Shaka Delica.
8 o'clock a.m. is the I Wish You Heaven. After that will be 11 o'clock a.m., and that'll be with the Purple Playground, and it'll be a kids' dance party. So people who have the kids, tune in at 11 a.m. We'll be doing some fun stuff for the kids.
And real quick, Purple Playground is a nonprofit out of Minneapolis that does like Prince, like they bring in, it's like a Prince camp. So they bring in students, etc. So we're kind of marrying up those two vibes, and we're going to bring, some Muppet action and, kind of those, fun, uplifting tracks that the kids can get down to. Probably not my kids. My kids will probably be more in tune to the Shaka Delica hour and, kind of more the B-sides and have you. But, for normal children.
Your kids are the exception.
Crazy.
So then after the Purple Playground at noon will be Revolution music. After that, we have at 2 o'clock will be the NPG hour. And I actually just got a text about 5 minutes ago from Mr. Hayes confirming that he will be hanging out in the chat for that. And he was going to reach out to some other MPG members, so they might be popping in too. 3 p.m. will be our Party Up Europe. And, that'll be kind of, the day will be ending in Europe over there. So that'll be kind of like their end of the day party. 5 p.m. will be the I Love My Guitar. And then that'll also include Takumi's top 5 picks. He sent us some.
Don't you want to know what Takumi's top 5 picks are? Like, I mean, if you're not on the edge of your seat, the man was his guitar tech for like 9 years.
In just 5.
Yeah.
Just 5.
We'll fill the rest of the time with some stuff. 6 p.m. will be Troy Gua and Le Petit Prince, LPP.
Yeah, we kind of wanted to bring in that other element too, which is, kind of some artwork. Folks at Prince inspired. And Troy's got such a big following. His stuff is so fantastic. So he'll be in the chat as well. So he'll be hanging out during that time.
I love Troy. He's great. He was a great. We did the fashion panel, and he was the moderator for that, and he was so wonderful, man. For that, it was.
And he's got his own
There's
style
shirts from the PRN alumni, right?
What's that?
There's shirts that you can buy. Aren't there shirts that have his work on them for you guys?
Yeah. The design he did, Portal, and it's the Paisley, and it's on our site. Yeah, PRNalumni.org.
That is it.
And that goes to the Arts Feeds program for kids in art. So that he chose that, and we did that special shirt. So it's really cool. It's done really well. So
nice.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Go get a shirt. Get a couple shirts.
Go get a shirt. Someone throw that link up there. Hi, Heidi. There's Heidi from the Purple Playground right now.
Hey, Heidi.
Her ears were burning. Yes.
Yeah, she knew you were talking about her. She comes on.
She caused the earthquake. I'm going to blame it on her. And speaking of which, Allison on YouTube said it was a 5.1 that we had out here. That's
I didn't feel it.
Small.
So,
it was,
but I'm on South Bay-ish, getting closer out, but I didn't feel it. So lucky.
That's a good thing. It was just a roller, but it didn't feel like a 5.1er.
Wow.
But there we go.
Anyway.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Craziness.
Crazy.
Things that are going on. Was there any? All right, because I remember one time at one of the celebrations when there was a tornado warning.
Wait. Hold on. Let me finish the schedule.
Sorry. Let's go on back on that. Everything is just everywhere right now. Go for it, man.
No. It's all good. I just want to make sure we talk about 7 p.m. because that's Shaka Delica. Mark can elaborate on that a little bit.
Awesome.
Yeah, and Shaka Delica, we've been doing a party for 3 years. A crew of ours. Shout out to Jenny, Darren, Christopher, Carrie in Minneapolis, and first year it was on the anniversary of his death. Same thing with the second year, and then we moved it to June 7th last year. So it's really about that community of people that were Paisley Park. And Dudley DJ'd, we have artists come in, we had like live painting, we had Troy Guazar, we had all kind of different dimensions really celebrating the life and music of Prince. So it's kind of bringing that Minneapolis sound kind of in that community into this. So, hey, Jenny. So we're going to bring some of those dimensions that we had at the party itself. It should be really fun. And we're going to be rolling pictures through that too, just to kind of remember, like this this June 7 would have been the Shaka Delica party. I mean, there were plans in the works. There was venues being booked. There was all kinds of stuff that was happening. And obviously with COVID and all, they kind of just said, yeah, we're not going to do it this year. So we'll miss kind of being able to give people hugs, but we do want to, you know, lift up that community and, you know, bring people out.
Right.
Yeah. 7 o'clock, Shaka Delica. Boom.
Awesome.
9 p.m. is going to be Cheesecake Funk.
Nice.
We're going to eat cheesecake.
We're gonna eat cheesecake, and we are in the final throes. You gotta imagine here. We will be at hour number 21. We're just
you're gonna pop some
we're
sugar.
gonna need some stuff to power through. So
you're gonna be sugar high. Yeah.
And then for the last thing is going to be 10 o'clock, and it's going to be It Ain't Over, and y'all just have to come find out what's happening.
Sweet.
So that's the schedule. It's up on Paisley Knights Facebook, our Instagram, and our Twitter, so you can check that out and plan out when you're going to sleep.
Not until Monday.
Or not.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
I told my boss the 7th is a holiday, but I'm taking the day off on the 8th in order to celebrate it fully. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
he's like, "What holiday is it?" I was like, "Come on."
Right.
That's cool.
Now, just since this happened with the earthquake or whatnot, I remember like at the celebration, I believe it was in 2001, where there was a tornado warning, and then Prince is like, "Were you guys scared of the tornado?" No, I wasn't because I have all of you. But has there ever been a time when there was a natural disaster or something going on, like some memory that you have with Prince that may have made a joke or something interesting on that? Just curious. Random question that probably never gets asked because when you're doing a live show, something doesn't happen.
Every time he took the stage, it was a problem.
Teed him up on that.
There you go.
Man.
But yeah, no, I don't remember being out there at all when there was any like tornadoes or anything. Snowstorms for sure. I mean, there's
Definitely blizzard.
Plenty of times you walk in the Paisley Park and it would be, starting to snow, and then by the time you walk out, there's a 1.5 foot of snow on the
Big
ground.
time. Yeah, I would say that.
The Super Bowl, someone brought up.
The Super Bowl. I saw that's obviously.
Yeah, and still cool. The rain coming down, the heels.
Yeah.
Everyone dancing, no one slipping.
It's like, you can't even plan that. That's just divine intervention.
Right. Just crazy times. Now, what made you and Mark, Dustin, not Justin, Dustin.
Yeah.
What made you? Because I know you guys usually do Shaka Delica, as you said, with everything going on. That's why it didn't happen. Is that what kind of played into you wanting to do a 24-hour dance party, or what ideas were you kicking around in order to come up with that?
I mean, it just became, we just were debating, like, what are we going to do? Do we do something Saturday night and then, wake back up and then do something Sunday? Or do we just do 7 hours on Sunday? Or, and, just knowing the catalog and how much music there is, it just kind of became like, can we do this? This is a challenge to us. And we're looking forward to it. I mean, that's all we've been doing this past month is, talking about it, planning stuff out, and it's just it's a challenge, and we want to do it, and I think people are going to enjoy it.
It's interesting as Dustin talks about it being a challenge, because I said this last time when I was on, I was like, Dustin, no repeats. We're not doing any repeats. And Dustin's like, well, we might have to do a couple of repeats. But, as we look at the music, and we're kind of coming up with the plans and the format and what we're doing, I mean, there's just so much music, right? And whether you're into the hits, you want the B-sides, you want some live tracks. We're going to have TV performances. Maybe we'll play that Super Bowl performance, right? We got some guitar performances. Like, we're going to bring in all these different dimensions. And then you see the green screen behind Dudley. Green screens are pretty cool. So green screens give you some flexibility. So we're going to be able to change sets. And as we go through these different themes, we're going to switch up the visuals. So as the day goes on, you're not just, staring at Dustin all day.
I wonder
there's going to be some different dimensions of it.
I wonder what is the longest Prince set ever done
I don't know what the longest Prince set ever done, but I think didn't we look up the longest like?
And I'm
stream?
talking
It was
DJ, of just
right.
all the way through. I wonder how long.
There was a DJ
Well-
set that was like so I don't know, some ridiculous amount an hour.
Yeah.
It's like 100 and 200 or something. So
Oh,
we're not
Just
doing
the
that.
DJ set.
Wow.
This will probably be the longest live Prince DJ set by a single DJ. There's no
Guinness
way that
Book
that
of Records.
has been.
what?
Right.
Yeah, he talked about it at one point. So I mean, and I think Dustin's well equipped to do this. I think the guy could wake up. He could have woken up a month ago, and we could have had a pretty good event. He probably would have been a little more stressed, but I mean, he goes on for 6 hours. We did on Saturday. We did the dance rally for justice. In light of all the events that were going on, and that was a 7-hour set, Dustin. And we ended up raising
7 hours and 21 minutes.
Yep, 7 hours and 21 minutes. We were after it, and we ended up raising $3,000 for the Minneapolis NAACP. So
Very cool.
Dustin
That's
can go, and people want to listen to music. I mean, folks were hanging out, for a long time.
Yeah.
It's needed. It's needed.
Right. Now, Dustin and Dave Hampton, if you're hanging around, you're the only one who can't answer this question.
Dave.
Dudley, with your shirt that you're wearing, let's see if anyone can guess it.
Yeah, Dave, you got to be
Anybody guess what this shirt is?
Except for Dave Hampton.
I get a better.
The earthquake may have scared him off just because he lives in the not too far
Yeah.
from me.
No, that's
So-
right over. Yeah.
Let's see if they can get it in time. They'll have to come back to it, but I thought it was a very interesting shirt, and then we'll definitely talk about how.
Rodney might know.
Got
I
that.
see Rodney's on. I'm looking at the chats now. He
Yeah.
might know. He might know.
Let's see. We'll allow Rodney to have it, but Dave is excluded from answering this question because he probably knew it. Oh, Cody got it.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Whoops.
Dave, what's up?
Yeah. And Dave, of course, I've had on the show several times, and he is just an awesome person. That's part of
Yeah, he's
PRN
great.
Alumni as well.
Yeah, Dave is wonderful and such a. I'm so blessed to call him a friend. I mean, he's so brilliant and, just a good guy. So
Yes.
no,
Absolutely.
you have to admit, I got that right when I saw it. So
Yes.
really,
You did.
Yeah, that's true.
I did do that.
Jackie got it right away.
Like
Dave would have
quick.
been proud.
Awesome. You got Rodney with it as well.
Yeah, I knew Rodney
That's it.
did it.
Yeah. What? And Dave wants to know where you got that shirt from, Dustin.
I know. I want it. I want one.
I'll share the link. I looked it up.
Like
Cool.
808. It would be cool to get an 808 one and rolling 808 and all that.
Just one of those things.
Mhm.
Oh, look at Dave. Gotta get him back on.
This guy's gonna wonder why all of a sudden his shirt blew up.
Exactly.
Failed.
Wow. So who's
He went from not selling one from when I bought mine 2 years ago to all of a sudden like 15.
And with the set list of Let's Go, we're gonna make sure to put that on the Funkaberry fan page. Please also make sure to follow Paisley Knights on Facebook and Twitch and Twitter just for their links and for other stuff going on.
Yeah, share the event. You can go invite people to it too. You got print fans. You can click in, invite.
That's for the
Oh, there it is.
t-shirt.
there's the T. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And Dave Hampton has his 808 pillows.
Nice.
Ah, man, it's just nice with everything that's going on for us to just myself to have you guys on camera. So hopefully they're feeling the love too with
I'm
everything.
glad
that's just-
we could help you through that earthquake too. I'm glad
We're-
we
You
could
know,
for you.
with what's going on in the world, the earthquake is the least. Well,
Right.
Right?
I'm just hoping, I'm praying that we do not have a major one while someone is in office, is all I can say. While
Yeah.
someone in office.
Oh,
That's all I'm
boy.
going to say.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's it. Not trying to get political. Well, California being the way it is, that's all. But yes, there's a lot more going on. I would rather deal with that than what's been going on for the past few months, and then of course a little over a week now. So
Yeah.
I'll bring that on. Now, just with other events for PRN alumni, is there anything that you guys, of course, are wanting to do in the future? You may not be able to do right now with what's going on with COVID, but do you have any other future plans aside? You know, the sales of the candles and other t-shirts that you had are also great, but also these events like.
Yeah, these events are really important for us. We had one scheduled in April, on April 18th, and it was Sandra St. Victor and the Family Stand. It was the first time they got together. And then we had a great lineup, Shelby J. Paul Peterson was, you know, it was just awesome. Ingrid Chavez, all just great group. We're going to get together at the Fine Line, and that didn't happen. So we'll figure out something. Sandra and I were talking, and you know, she's going to come back. She lives out of the country, but we'll put that together, and we're going to start doing more panels. We've been doing them. Like our last one we did at Pandora in Oakland last fall, and it had all the wonderful female engineers all together. You know, the first time, Lisa Chambly. It had Susan Rogers, Sylvia Massey, and Peggy McCreary all together for the first time ever on stage together, and it was amazing. And so, you know, these are the type of events that we like to do. And the event, we raise money for the Women in Audio Mission. That's a wonderful group that there's only 5% of women in audio, in the audio field, which is crazy to me. And so they are working and helping change that and bringing more women into that field, and studio and editing and just all aspects like that. So that was really great. You know, we've got some other cool panels lining up now, you know, similar on different topics and different pairings, you know, and of course, you know, we have the Saturday one we talked about a little bit earlier with Sinbad, and that's going to be a wonderful one with Clare Fischer and Prince collaboration, and the stories are going to be pretty crazy cool about that, and the sharing on that. So I'm really excited. So those are the type of pairings we're going to do. And then, of course, we'll do some more really cool concerts and things in the future. And more urban gardening things that we're doing. We did that event last year. We did a dance party in Detroit, raised money then. It was so much fun. And then that next day, we did an unveiling of a urban organic edible garden in a community center, so which is really cool. So we're going to keep doing those type of things too. So
awesome.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can get an event out here in LA and have Dudley
Oh
be able
yeah,
to DJ it.
absolutely, absolutely. That's
and
coming.
We got interviews to do in LA, man. We coming.
Yeah, we do.
We were talking about
Awesome.
it earlier this year. We got interviews to do. We had plans. Like it was.
Yeah.
We were coming.
Yeah.
And with the engineer panel, I'm sorry for the woman. I remember Chris James, who's also part of the project that's dropping of the cross on June 7th. He was, as soon as he heard about you guys doing the alumni thing, he was like, "Do we gotta get to San Francisco to check it out? We got to get to the Bay Area." Unfortunately, we weren't able to do it, but he was like blown away that it was going to be all those people on there.
It was amazing, and Pandora, they were wonderful, and the ladies were just great, and it was a great cause for it too, and we just. You know, just shedding light on, you know, women throughout Prince's career too. He was, we talked yesterday on our little chat, how future forward he was on so many things, ahead of technology, ahead of, you know, really giving opportunities for people, women in the band, in the behind the scenes in the studios, and in behind the scenes doing business. So it's, he was amazing like that. And for me, I personally feel so honored that he let me into that sphere, his ecosystem for a while, and I learned so much from him. And he gave me the opportunity as a woman, and I didn't ever feel like, oh, I'm just this girl, you know. It was like, go do it. And he didn't look at me as, you know, this chick, so to speak, as, you know, you get sometimes in the boardrooms. So he was really brilliant like that. And so when we were thinking about different panels, these panels are really thought, you know, put together from the alumni, and we get we're going to do some fun stuff. We just posted a couple of weeks ago asking all different people what who they'd love to see as pairings and who they'd like to see in some of these panels. So we're going to start to put some of those suggestions together and pair up some people and do some cool stuff. So, and it should be cool.
Awesome. And Dave was also talking about how they're going to be having another engineering one with Chris James and himself from other time periods. So that's going to be awesome. That's something to look forward to in the future for sure.
Yeah. We've done that when we first started, when we did some panels at the Capri, our first year, and we had a studio panel. We had a fashion panel, her story panel. So we try to really encompass that. And so the studio panel was, from Hans Martin Buff to Tom Gurneau to all of the different Colby, who did all the live, session, live sound front of house. And, Dave was on it, Lisa. We've had some really cool people on there from all ears. We try to make sure we get the different ears because it really tells the story better by having that. And then you also see some threads that just go through all the periods. No matter what, he's still Prince, you know what I'm saying? And he still had, so it was really interesting. But to try to, balance out, the 80s, the 90s, 2000s, and 2010, really try to do that is important. So.
Absolutely. Just these other things that we can just, even though he's no longer with us, that he's still contributing in some way, shape, or form in so many different ways.
Yeah, he is
awesome.
Well, one of the things is some of ours are friends ever since we worked for Paisley, and have best friends ever since. Like when I met Steve Park, we've been, since then. I mean, it's just an amazing, tight knit of people that we're just friends for life, after that.
Craziness. Although, Jacqui, I don't think you live too far from me. I think this is the only time we're actually able to see each other too much, unless it's in events in Minnesota or somewhere else, which is hilarious to me.
I know. It's like crazy.
So, now Dudley, aside from, are you going to be able to be doing, well, it's going to travel 24 hours. So basically Let's Go is going to be also Manic Monday in some way, shape, or form. Since it's going to be lasting 24 hours.
Oh, he's still doing Manic Monday. That's a whole nother day. He's got to wake up Monday and make that happen. He ain't getting off the hook that easy. He ain't going to be playing a song at midnight and be like, oh, that's my Manic Monday set. No.
What do you mean? Maybe I'll just go 26 hours.
26 hours. Manic Monday starts at June 8th at midnight. I mean, who knows? You catch the flow.
Yeah, no, I will have to probably take a little nap and get back up and then be like, all right, a few more hours of Prince music. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
The Let's go after party. I don't know.
And you're going to have Vanessa bring maybe a couple more cheesecakes to get that little sugar flowing for you.
Yeah. I'm actually really excited. I am a huge fan. I love cheesecake, and I have not had her cheesecake yet. So.
Oh my God, man. It's so ridiculous.
I haven't had it. Right.
She's wonderful as a person, first and foremost. And then she's always, at our backstages and our different shows that we've had, Maceo Parker and all that. She's been a sponsor, basically bringing the cheesecakes over and, some of the panels. And man, the first time I tried it, because everybody had been like hyping it up. Oh my God, you got to try this cheesecake. And I love cheesecakes. I'm like, and I bit into it. I was like, oh, this is good. And I knew I was like, I better stop. I hadn't eaten much, I would have been like, for the show, but you almost can't, you just keep wanting more. So.
Well, when I'm getting sleepy, really Mark can just bring it out and be like, 3 more hours. You can have a slice of this. Keep going.
You can take a nap in the actual cheesecake.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm moving into Dustin's house, so Dustin and I are we're taking it to the next level. So after tonight, lots of time together.
Yeah, Mark's moving in. We have another friend of ours hanging out with us too, and just transforming my house into, a studio that's able to make this happen for 24 hours. So it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
It's gonna be a testosterone party with both of you guys hanging around, man.
Yeah,
testosterone. I saw a comment from Heidi and tell her, yes, I'm so bummed. We were supposed to have coffee. We had plans, and we can't.
Everything got messed up.
But it's okay. We'll just
pandemic, and then the coffee shop you were going to go to burnt down. Like it's all screwed up.
That's right. Great. My favorite coffee shop, Moose and Sadie's, is gone. I am so crushed.
Where
by
was that?
That's in Minneapolis. It's a great coffee shop I used to hit up right off of Washington, and it was the joint, and they closed. I was like, no. The memories.
I thought you meant they got damaged in the riots.
No, but they were damaged by COVID.
Oh,
so,
right.
So they're not able to.
Same difference, right?
Right.
Same difference at this point.
So
shop local, people. Shop local.
Yep, absolutely.
And black owned too.
Hit those. What? Yeah, amen to that.
Yeah. Just craziness now. Now you're gonna have to do it in LA. So at least, well, the weather would have been good in Minnesota tomorrow as well. But yes, everything in 2020, including coffee plans, is just canceled.
Yeah.
Except for Let's Go and the PRN Alumni panel this weekend in my show.
Yeah,
keep it going
absolutely.
on.
Yes. We'll kick it off on the 6/6 at 4 Eastern, and then you guys just get some good coffee or another nap and get ready.
I'll tell you,
I'll be waking up right about that time. That's perfect. I kind of have a schedule planned out. Dustin and I have been working this thing, so I'll be up right in time to watch the panel. It'll be great.
Sweet.
Hey, my $5, Jude.
Let's see how that schedule
Dustin?
goes.
I think we'll have to get our own entrances.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it later. I'm gonna wait. Jacqui told us that you'll be able to watch it later, so I'm gonna be sleeping because I can't be up all day Saturday and then start DJing.
You hope.
So,
you hope you'll be sleeping.
Right.
Mark said he's got a sleeping pill for me.
Oh my god.
TMI. No, I'm playing.
I'll just take a handful, and my daughter's got some of those little gummies with melatonin in them when she can't sleep. So she takes one, I'll take 15.
So I'll be trying to get Justin to wake up at 11:59. Gotta go.
And of course, we have a great question from Am. What would Prince have been doing at this time? Of course, you have COVID, then you have the riots going on, especially in Minnesota, where everything went down in Minneapolis. What do you guys think that he would be doing?
I mean, I personally think he would have been doing some live streaming concerts like Erykah Badu did.
Absolutely.
I mean, he was already set up for that.
Yeah.
Messing around with the Third Eye Girl TV. I mean, 4, 5, 6 years ago. So I think he would have been in a position to do some really cool things. And then, that's the pandemic side. And then once, the whole George Floyd thing hits, I think he would just be a strong voice in the community. I mean, you saw what he did in Baltimore. So, he's going to go all out for his hometown.
Yep. Absolutely.
100%.
I agree.
And I think you can't geographically, I think it's really important. That is Prince's neighborhood. This is less than a mile from where he graduated from high school. This is, if you think of Prince music, you think of where it came from, where this murder happened was in Prince's neighborhood, right? So I think he would have been out there, not just doing his music thing, not just supporting the community with money, donations, streams. I'm sure he would have done all that, right?
Yeah, and he's set up.
But I think he would have also been his voice.
Yeah. I mean, he was always future forward, so you knew he'd probably have something really cool going on, and I bet he'd be in the studio writing.
Yeah, Dave said he'd be in the studio recording, but isn't that just a given?
Well,
yeah, of course he would be doing that.
Duh, that's stupid. Of course he would.
Dustin, he may have done a 24-hour recording session.
Yeah, you never know.
See?
And
which is great about your dance party.
I'm sure he's already had plenty of those.
Yeah.
But live streaming it.
Right.
And he was ahead of the game on the live stream for sure, ahead of everyone else that was doing it.
Yeah.
What was the platform he was using at that?
It was live stream. We were doing the shows.
It would have been what?
I'm sorry?
What was the platform that he was streaming on?
Yeah, it was livestream.com.
Yeah.
Cool.
We were doing the Spreecast for interviews and for other stuff to get news out, and then he would do the live shows and whatnot, either from Paisley or on the road, which would be pretty awesome. So
Yeah. I mean, I think we talked about it last time, but the one time he did a live stream from Paisley Park, he had me come out to DJ, and I had no idea he was going to do a live stream, and I was just setting up for like a regular party, and then next thing you know, he had a camera brought over and it was like setting it up. We're gonna shoot your turntables here, and I'm like, all right, well, what are we doing? I don't even know what we're doing. Next thing you know, we're live, and all of a sudden, check the clicker, and it's like 5,000 people, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just keep DJing. Thanks for the heads up.
Well, when I was there, I didn't have we didn't have even Google.
Yeah.
So I'm dating myself, so it was crazy. But so yeah, to have this type of the tools available now is amazing. Totally amazing.
you got to do stuff even more difficult to get things.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing was available was AOL chat.
And
So
he would use
crazy.
that.
Yes, he would. I remember one time he asked me if I knew how to type, and I did. And I knew by that point, you got to pick your battles on what you tell him you know how to do. Because he wanted me to go on AOL and type. And I could, at the time, type 60, 70 words a minute, fairly good. And I was like, no, I don't. Because I would have been these were crazy. I'd have been typing his lyrics. I'd have been I was like, no, I'm going to
put some boundaries up around that.
You had to, because,
But then you had to also never get caught typing around him, right?
You didn't have to worry about the cell phones and all that stuff.
Right.
Right.
No, that's funny.
So can we blame you, Jacqui, for us having to deal with messages for him for years, all in caps? Should we blame that on you?
Yeah.
Like when he would send us messages, it would always be in caps?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, I don't mind taking the fall on that one.
Just hilarious.
I know. It's pretty crazy.
But those Paisley Park AOL chat room conversations would be quite interesting back in the day. I would just sit there and just lay back and read it. I wouldn't put too much into it, but it was an interesting time for sure. And how far we've come since then.
Yeah, it's amazing,
right?
Really.
It would have made things a little bit easier for you.
My gosh, it would have, as far as just streamlined for Cristobal and all that. We were at the forefront, right? We were the testing of that. We talked about it yesterday, Mark and Dustin, about Cristobal, and and really, it had its issues, right? It was hiccups in it and everything, but it was still innovative. And nothing is always, you're not going to be perfect, and sometimes you fail. But that's the cool thing about what I learned from him is you keep pushing, you keep doing, and don't be fearful of trying things. Not all work, but that's okay. So. Right. But it ended up, being such ahead of its time, that concept, and it's what it is today, really.
Right.
So that was great for me. I learned so much on that, and the conversations I'd have with him in the conference room about ideas he had. It was pretty amazing. So.
We got to get into that one time. But yes, Cristobal, ahead of its time. So many other things that he'd always be ahead of the curve that people would be using years down the road.
Absolutely.
You know, that was awesome.
I always think, when did Exodus come out? 95, 94? You got to get free so you can download the music into your fan's computer. I mean, I didn't even know what that meant. What's he even talking about? That's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it was just, even with the beautiful experience, and if your Endorphin machine has come on it, you can $19.99 will be charged to your account to download the music directly. I mean, people were like, "Wait, what?"
Talking about?
No, it's awesome. I mean, it was the other thing we did that was different was we didn't have a distributor. There was no distribution. So it was, for those 3 albums, New Power Soul. When I was there, it was a Larry Graham album.
GCS 2000.
GCS 2000, and Come to My House with Shaka. And actually, one of the tracks on that Clare Fischer did, which is Crazy Life of Mine, and it was amazing. Did the orchestration for that. That was a wonderful album. But those were literally drop ship from the manufacturer to the retailers. No distributor at all. So
right.
Yeah.
And with Crystal Ball, you know, when you finally got the distribution for Best Buy and Blockbuster Music at the time, I know there was some other companies, I think Phi, that was upset that you guys had to deal with them, so they refused to carry any of Prince's music at all.
Yeah, there was definitely some pushback on some, you know, that, and then we did it with no returns, and that was unheard of. So like you bought them and they were yours. So if you sold them, you sold them. If you didn't, you didn't. That with the some of the deals. So
you couldn't give them back. Like if the store purchased them, like Best Buy, like they bought as many as they bought, and
that was it.
That was it.
Yeah, they couldn't return
I
it.
didn't know that.
No returns.
Yes.
I'll tell you. I mean, that dude was business savvy. That's how you do it, right there. Yeah, y'all can have those.
Yeah,
it's on you.
Yeah.
Nope, don't give it back. It's all yours.
It's all yours. You pay for it. It's yours. So.
Yeah,
it was cool.
We got to talk about that when the Crystal Ball anniversary comes on or something like that. We got to have like a special show just for that, because it's just so far ahead of its time. And also the frustration that you had to deal with when it first came out, but now looking back on it.
Yeah, it's. I remember getting the first mold for the Crystal Ball. So when Crystal Ball was already, when I got there, was already in pre-ordered for a year. So when I got in to start having to work with that, there was already, you know, pre-orders for.
People are antsy.
Yeah, they were already antsy, right? So then we had to work on the production and design and getting the molds right for the 5 discs, and getting that all together. But ultimately, it turned out cool. I thought it couldn't be a Crystal Ball, so we had to kind of create something a little different. And then you could download the lyric book. Like that was new. You know, no one had really been downloading lyric books either. You know, so
just craziness. And that's why we got to make sure, like, because you know we want to preserve his legacy and not do revisionist history.
Yeah,
but I did see.
Oh yeah.
You know that because you did the first interactive live concert, that they give that credit to the Red Hot Chili Peppers, which is another person that was on Warner's, but they were trying so much to not give him credit for
big
stuff.
time.
There's a live concert, selling his music first on the internet, selling Crystal Ball. Like we have to make sure those are the things that I want people to fight for. If you're going to try to revise history, let's get it right now on those things that he did first before anyone.
Yep.
You know, because he didn't have the machine behind him. That's what made your job so much harder, Jacqui.
It did. I had a girlfriend who worked for Sony in the distribution section, and she calls me one day and she's like, "Girl, we is going in after you because we didn't have a lot of money, so we didn't have a ton of street teams. So even though we got it into the store, you know, he had a body of work." What they would do is their street team would come in and they would take, and so the new music was supposed to be first in the cab, and right there they would come in and they would take the new music, our new Power Soul, and they would put it in the back because most people don't go through the hole to get it. So people didn't know he had a new record out, but because of that. So WIA was coming in intentionally and putting it in the back and doing, so those are, kind of tactics, it's just more manpower, lots of money. And of course they didn't want it to work because if, artists like him has this major success with it, then Madonna's doing it, then all their, artists are leaving.
Exactly.
So,
I think it's important to note, I mean, like he was really a freedom fighter in that whole movement, right? And he took his context, right? And we kind of look at the world in which we live in today. He said, here's my little piece of land, and I'm going to fight for justice within this piece of land. And he kind of flips the script. Yeah. And I hadn't heard that story about people moving his stuff back. But then he fought the pushback of trying to change a system, right?
Right. Yeah, that's what it was.
But like you start to try to change a system, you start to call it out, right? and then there's going to be that resistance. And I think Prince saw that in his career. And I think
Yeah.
he's a good model to say, hey,
Right.
we start trying to do what's right, trying to change some things.
Yeah.
You know, there's going to be some pushback, and you
Always
got to
gonna
keep
be.
pressing in spite of it.
Absolutely, you do.
Absolutely.
And yeah,
A
we
little
don't
preachy
talk.
there. Sorry.
No, it's all good, man. You know, a lot of people don't talk about that. You know, that period. You know, of him musically, but also like what he was doing with innovation in the business sense. And I was happy to be there. You know, everybody kind of blows over the 90s. I'm like, you're snoozing on what was really happening in the 90s. You're snoozing
Right.
on that. You know, and musically too, there's some really cool gems if you go and you really listen to what's going on. So, but it was not a lot of people would know that. I've not really ever said, you know, that about Wea because it was me doing it. So, you know, it was me and Prince and Londell. And so we were making our own distro up and doing it that way. So, but yeah, and you know, the masters and all that, you know, are really to help the artists today. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
this is all that is for the artists today.
Right.
So.
And Leanne, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. You said who didn't give him credit? The music industry and other people not give him credit. Another thing that Jacqui was touching on, and Dustin as well, that if he did these things, then other people would follow suit. That's why I find it so interesting that The Most Beautiful Girl in the World, which was his first independent single, made it to #2 on the Billboard charts.
Yep.
Couldn't make it to #1, but at the end of the year, the Billboard charts for every independent release, Prince was #1, or as the symbol at that time, which is very interesting because the same thing happened with Lotus Flower being only sold through Target. That the Hits magazine had him selling 78,000 copies that week, and that would have gave him #1. Tim McGraw had 73,000, but for some reason Billboard lost those 6,000 copies. And so Prince was having me call and find out why Hits had a different total than Billboard, and everything else matched in their charts for that week except for the #1 and #2 position. So they were even trying to do it even as early as 2009 and before in 1994. Go ahead.
You think they were out to get him? Like, was that like an intentional, hey, we don't want this guy to win? Like, we are intentionally squashing this guy's effort because he's such a pain? Like, Prince
thinking someone was out to get him? No.
Hell yeah. I'm saying, what do you think?
I think that there was a discrepancy in sales. They were trying to say that it sold early at Target. Instead of a release date on Tuesday, which is now on Friday, it was selling on Sunday. So they were trying to say that those 6,000 sales were before street date. And so that it can't count towards that chart.
They're trying to find them loopholes. I see how they
Exactly. And it cost, he put an announcement on my site that if it debuts at #1, they're going to perform where Bria Valente wanted him to perform. So you fans of Miami, Florida missed out on a concert from him not getting #1. So I'll just say that. So, you know, but
I like that comment from Dave right there. Yes, they did not like that he could outsmart them.
Oh yeah.
He was doing everything he could. And
you're right, Dave.
Go ahead. Yeah, another idea he had that he was trying to do in 2013, 2014, the year 2014, I believe, 2013, I'm sorry. We did the Samsung party for South by Southwest. He was about to get into a deal with Samsung to release Plectrum Electrum through them only through the app. And then, of course, a few months later, that's what Jay-Z did. So that kind of ruined the relationship that Samsung and Prince were having at the time, because that's how Third Eye Girl was supposed to get out. But again, kept trying different ways to do things.
Definitely.
And how artists are doing it now, I think that they're taking something from musicology where he put in with the CD and having it built into the concert price. What you're seeing now, and I wish the Prince estate would do this with their other releases, that they release shirts, other artists release shirts it's a hot topic or whatnot, but it has the download code and then it counts towards a sale. Now, they haven't exactly been doing that, but that's how Tyler, the Creator, and in a world where we have downloads and streams be where the counting of sales comes from, Tyler, the Creator, was able to have 68,000 sales because of the t-shirts he had that had the download code because it counted towards the sales. I think Prince would have been doing something like that, and I would have liked to have seen the estate do that.
He was doing it, basically.
Right.
I mean, as Dave and I have talked about, he was always future forward, and his brain was ahead of the technology. So, you know, he was already thinking that way when there wasn't technology yet. So he was building the tracks before the train came, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, a lot of people haven't been paying attention too, because it wasn't Taylor Swift fighting to get her. Oh, there's what's up, Thea? Wasn't Taylor Swift fighting to get her masters back too recently?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah.
I was really hoping that I would go to court, and I had this conversation with Dave before. I wanted to see how they were going to treat her when it came to trying to get her masters back. Because it's been a while since someone has done that. And Taylor's first 6 albums, you know, now being owned by Scooter Braun, who she considers like her enemy, how Prince was about Warner Brothers back in the day. It would have been really interesting to see how that would have played out in a public forum. And it still could happen. I'd rather have that happen more so than Taylor taking jabs. I would love to see her try to fight to get her masters back, just so it lays out a plan for other artists to see how they get treated. You know, because Ray Charles had to fight for his masters in a certain way that Sinatra didn't, although he had to re-record his stuff before getting to reprise. It's just, I would like to have seen that play out, to be honest. You know, BS with Taylor and all that. And here's Dave having a long comment. We had a conversation in the studio about how the record business thinks.
Bring Dave in.
If he's on there, I know sometimes his internet connection isn't that great.
Yeah.
And I can move with him because he knew the power of his connection to his audience and the delivery of his live music. And Dave, if you want to come in, man, I can send you the link. Just let me know. I'd love to see Taylor with Slave on her face. I wouldn't.
Yeah,
that wouldn't be. Not right now.
No. I mean, it was just the whole thing is no matter what people say, now you look back on it historically, him writing Slave on his face, so much crap that he got over it. But he would say when he go into Warner's with that, it would change the whole concept of the conversation.
Yeah.
So
and everybody else thought, you know, it was crazy. You know, all the other major artists, they're like, "What? Wait, what are we doing? No, this is cool. I'm cool right now." Like,
hey, Dave, we got to do a show.
Yes.
You got to come on and we got to chop it up sometime.
That's awesome. You know, I know that I've had you guys here for a little over an hour. I appreciate you guys. Is there anything else that you're wanting to add to stuff or make sure that we talk about that we may not have discussed at all, or anything you guys want to share?
Justice for George Floyd.
There we go.
Damn, Skippy.
Can't say any more than that. So
right.
So let's keep the positive vibes.
Thank God for Mr. Keith Ellison. I mean, he's doing his thing. We're pretty pleased about that. So charges coming down on everybody and going up.
Yeah, I made a post earlier talking about how I remember the OJ verdict coming in. And when this verdict comes in, man, the whole world is going to stop. It's going to be unbelievable. Everyone's going to remember where they are that day, for sure.
Yeah. You know, in 1993, during the civil trial of Rodney King, Prince was actually taking his Act One tour here in LA. He delayed it by a few days because apparently he had his voice. We thought it was his voice when we listened to the show of it, like his voice was blown out, but we thought he may have been delaying it for the Rodney King trials because we were afraid that there was going to be civil unrest. But those 3 shows, which were my first shows in 1993, for it to be happening during that time, and I think that the second day of the shows is when the verdict was announced, and we were just thanking God that they had them be guilty, you know. But the tension that LA had and those shows, when he did Purple Rain, and then he would stop in the middle and go, talk about the lyrics from Race, which we didn't know the song at the time. Race is the space I mark human. Cut you, cut me, we both bleed the same color red. And then for him to go back into the solo would be amazing. And I'm just hoping, as we've all said, that they get convicted, because if not, we're not going to have places to go. And then these conversations may be the only thing we have. You know, I just hope they get it right. And there has to be a change. It can't just that they forget about this. It cannot happen again. We better not be seeing any videos or them trying to block the cameras of the footage of themselves. And then we have to worry about store owners having great cameras to show exactly what happened, you know?
Yeah, you know, and just, I mean, I think for the state of Minnesota, you know, Keith Ellison, I mean, getting the case is a big deal. The governor getting behind him. And if you watch Minnesota Governor Tim Walz today, I mean, this is a politician that's, you know, talking about racial injustice, talking about kind of what it means around privilege and what we need to do, and how do we as a broader community begin to, you know, address racism. Because when it's all said and done, I mean, racism is a white people problem. We got to figure out how, you know, we're going to change our behavior so we can have a more just and equal society. And white folks got to kind of get on board with that. So I think we're seeing, not so much at the national level, but at the local level, we're seeing people really begin to take this seriously. They came down with charges or investigation from civil rights against the Minneapolis Police Department. Minnesota Institute of Arts has suspended their contract with them. Minneapolis Public Schools has suspended their contract with them. Minneapolis Parks is suspending their work with us. So
University of Minnesota.
University
absolutely.
of Minnesota. So you're seeing people begin to really take stands to say, hey, we are not as a community going to tolerate this behavior, and people are beginning to do what they can. And I think that's the charge, right? And that's the lesson of Prince. He was doing kind of this freedom fighting thing in the record industry. That's where that was his space, right?
Definitely.
We all got to do our part to push back and make change.
Yep.
Once again, preachy. Sorry.
No
Mark,
question.
Nobody minds when you preach, bro. I'll give you my soapbox. You can have it.
Go for it. Sean Carter, he asked this question earlier and I forgot to ask it. Jacqui, he wants to know whatever happened to Roadhouse Garden.
I don't know. We didn't really talk about that album. He was talking about the 3 he was into at the time, which were, you know, the Larry, New Power Soul, and Shaka. And then he was also talking about remastering his whole vault at the time, doing new master. That's why we did the 1999 remaster. But it really wasn't my time frame where he was even any focus on that. You know, Hans might have known about it. Hans Martin Buff might know about it more, but or a Femi, Gia might, you know, that type of thing. Tom Tucker probably would have maybe heard about it, but my focus was on the releases that we had and the you know, the effort we had to put into these releases. You know, especially being without a label. You know, doing it ourselves.
I mean, when it comes to Femi, we may have to do like a Where's Waldo thing, because he's fallen off like the face of the earth. Like, where in the world is Femi? And he was one of my favorite people. He still is one of my favorite people, even though it's been years since
Femi is
awesome.
Femi was wonderful.
He gave me when we did the first celebration, he was giving tours and he was making things happen.
Femi was so awesome. I ran into him at a record store before, and he was doing this boys group called Soul Decision, and I gave him flack over it. And I had no idea who he was at the time. And he goes, I'm Femi Gia. And I went, oh, dude, like you worked with Prince. Like, I Wish You Heaven remix and the Batman soundtrack. I was like, yeah, I went, do amazing. And then all of a sudden, like within months, he was getting hired back by Prince to work on that sampler set and other things.
I remember that.
Doing.
Oh yeah, I remember that sampler set. Definitely. Yeah. So I do remember that. The sample. See, when you work like so many hours, it kind of becomes a blur. Right. So like when you just brought that up, oh yeah, the sampler set. I remember that. That was cool.
I thought that was
cool.
wild that he was going to
Yeah.
do that and just
he
like
very much was.
I
mean, it was
wait,
like,
what? Are you going to let everybody get your samples now?
and he had Morris Hayes was ahead of that.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember it was I remember that time. But the
Right.
Roadhouse, or it was Roadhouse Garden. Yeah, we didn't. That wasn't during mine anyway.
Very interesting. Yeah, because I know he started talking about it early on, but I think he only released Splash from that. But he talked about the project. But yes, and Dave, let him know that J7 says what's up. I would love to talk with him again. I don't know, like, just so he knows before the Funkenberry name and all that other stuff when it comes to Femi. So, Anne's asking this.
Yay, Dave! I just saw that. Yay, Dave! That sounds good, man. I'm glad.
Yes.
We've been looking forward to reconnecting. What a cool
Femi
dude.
is so hard to reach.
Oh yeah.
At least for myself. Maybe unless you're Dave Hampton, you can get it done.
Right. Well, you know.
Yeah. You know, Anne has this question. I don't know if you guys want to touch this or not. Do you think this is a symptom and not the cause? Capitalism is a cause. There is no way to level the playing field. When this is over, things will be the same. What do you think about that, Mark?
I think capitalism definitely has its challenges as to how money gets distributed, etc. But I think race is, the historic elements of racism are a big piece of it. So I don't think you can just boil it down to capitalism as the challenge. And a lot of folks will try to do that and diminish the reality of race. So I think we have to find ways to, as a nation, talk about race, address race, get real on race and get honest about it. People are people, so we all got our challenges, but we have just lived in denial for so long as a nation that the divides are just all over the place, and we have to build the requisite skills, the requisite knowledge, the requisite understanding, specifically as white people. If you're a person of color in this nation, you deal with racism every day. Like, that is just a fact, right? But for those of us of lighter hue, we can live our lives without really understanding that. And I think, that work's got to be done. And I think the tensions around race and what we're seeing today, Black Lives Matter shirts are flying off the shelves at Amazon, right? People are becoming more conscious. The governor of Minnesota is talking about this stuff. Obviously, we're devoid of national leadership, but people are doing things, and certainly the economic structures matter. And I think there's ways for us to more equally distribute resources, and make sure that we're creating policies that account for historical racism and oppression. So I don't know, long answer, but
it's okay.
A lot of things need to change. And for things to change, people need to change. And I look at, like, my life, just kind of pulling it all back to Prince. Like, I didn't have any of these insights, walking into Paisley Park for the first time at 18, right? And I think Prince, the genius of him was he created community, he created connections, he created relationships. You go to a Prince concert, shoot, he's bringing out everybody, right? Like, we coming from all different walks of life,
right?
And I think there's something beautiful in that, right? And being able to have real deal relationships allows you to grow and to understand people, and that brings you to the kind of to the next plane, right? Prince talked about the north side, but he also talked about it in the brain, like, brings you to this higher level, and I always like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, he practiced. That's what people have to understand. He practiced love for one another, not love for one, not love for some, love for one another.
Yeah.
And you have to understand about who you guys support. I'm not trying to get political here. I apologize. But if your friends and your loved ones are not having to where they feel that love for another, there has to be a time for change of people that you support. It cannot just be, well, this person's Republican, this person's Democrat, and I vote this way, so I'm going to vote this way. You have to look at your friends and that they're hurting right now and make your decisions on that. That if things are good for you, but they're not good for everyone else, it has to be good for everyone, not just you, because eventually it will come for you. That's where you have to practice love for one another. Instead of doing it by political parties, do to where you're seeing your friends are hurting. And if you truly do love them, it's time to make a change. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, today. That's all I can say on that. You know?
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'm not the only preacher here. That's good.
And if your friends aren't hurting right now, like, you need to get outside your bubble and get some more friends. You know?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're too
That's
tight.
what it comes down to. You know, is that there's going to have to be change. Even if there is a change, say in office of something, there still needs to be change through both parties, plain and simple.
Yeah.
That's all we're going to get down onto. And in closing, you know, you guys have the PRN Alumni event this Saturday at 4 p.m., correct?
Correct.
For $5.
$5, yes.
That's less than a Happy Meal, y'all.
It's going to be great. It's going to be so much fun. Sinbad's going to just make it a riot, and you'll hear some great stories, and it's going for a great cause. Cause is because we're doing lots of different stuff. So appreciate that. 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. PST. So
yes. And then the 24-hour dance party. Let's go.
Show me on.
Yeah. Paisley Nights on Twitch, twitch.tv/Paisley Nights. And PaisleyNights.com. Right now we have the merchandise up that will all the Let's Go, $10 from every Let's Go item goes directly to the PRN alumni.
Thank you, guys.
We also have Paisley Nights shirts up there and Manic Monday shirts, and we're looking forward to it. We're going to be in full-on production mode here right as soon as I get off this. I'm going to be working all night.
We got some work to do.
Yes,
Yep.
and I'm willing
and able,
willing to do the work.
Absolutely.
And, you know, for the people on the streams, you know, share the events from PRN Alumni, share the events from our page, Paisley Nights on Facebook. You can go out and invite people to the event on the page. You have access to do that. So if you got Prince fans that you know, tell folks, you know, what's going on. I mean, the words got to get out by people. So we need your help. We need your support. It's not going to help without, or not going to happen without some people taking action. So we appreciate the shares, the likes, the love. Really appreciate it all.
Yeah, we're you know, on Facebook, the links can share, you know, to your peeps, and we're on Instagram as well. And you can get, you know, see the panel at prnalumni.org. You can go there, and then if you feel so, you can donate there. We also have some really cool spotlights. I don't know if everybody knows this, but on prnalumni.org, we've been doing every couple weeks monthly spotlights on different PRN alumni, and it's a great write-up. You can read all about the different folks that work for Prince, and so it's there for you just to access and take a look at it and read. So it's pretty cool stories. You'll probably see the silver lining thread throughout it about Prince and what it meant to the person that worked there. You know, it's pretty cool, and what it helped with their career and all that. So there's some really neat stories on how people ended up working with him and what they did after. So if you want that, so there's some really cool stuff. You can see more of what we're doing too. So
right.
So spread the word.
Looks like you just got a donation. See that? Boom.
All right. Boom,
Thanks, Audrey.
boom. All right.
Yeah, and then Dustin, Mark, you guys did the Rally for Peace last weekend. Thank you guys for donating to them. And that raised for NAACP, did that raise about $3,000 or so?
$3,070. We were $51 short of $3,121.
Oh,
close.
So that's cool.
Next
Hey,
time.
And just
it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, I mean, that's a nonprofit, 100% volunteer led. They don't have fundraisers out there. You know, everybody that's doing work for the Minneapolis NAACP right now is, I mean, they're doing it of their own time, and they are, I mean, for real. I know people that are working on that. You know, trust them, and they're doing good work. I mean, and just putting in long days. So we felt like it was a worthy group connected to the grass kind of roots of what's going on in the community, and could use the help. So, and the real cool thing I thought about it, we had donations from Australia, Europe, like literally all over the world, which was real cool. So it was a fun night.
I mean, I was going to be excited if we, you know, raised $500 or so, but that was fun. It was a lot of fun just to see the number keep growing and growing, and then I'm sure the NAACP also wasn't expecting that. They were like, well, okay, sure. You do that. And we'll accept whatever you got. And then we're like, we got 3 stacks for you.
I love
There
it.
you go.
Feels good
That's
to do
cool.
that.
Yeah, it was
So-
fun.
And I appreciate you guys. And I'm gonna let you guys go, and I'm gonna just talk about the message we got regarding the cross that's coming out on June 7th. But
Cool.
Jacqui, thank you so much
Thank
for your
you. Finally
time.
to get on here it's really cool. So
Yes, gotta have
appreciate
you back
having me.
on.
Very
Get
much
Dave
so.
in. get
Yeah,
other
let's do
people.
it. We'll chop it up. I love it. It'll be great.
100%. And Dudley and Mark, you guys better rest up. We're
Yeah.
gonna be
Get
We got
them
entertaining.
work to
cheesesteaks.
do. We got work to do.
hours.
We rest on the 8th.
Cool.
Lastly, someone just snuck this question in, Mark. What's the NAACP doing?
I mean, ultimately, they're advocating on behalf of the community. So, I mean, they're really on the front lines of kind of being a vocal advocate for justice. I mean, I look at like what's happening at the governor's space. I mean, a lot of that was organization by protesters, by advocates pressing his office to say, hey, Freeman's got a, this dude's got a conflict of interest here, right? And I mean, I think a lot of that pressure was being built by organizations like the NAACP and the grassroots organizing there. So
Right.
I mean, they're making a difference by really pressing that agenda to say we need to deal with these issues.
Mhm.
Right. Thank you guys again so much for your time.
Thank you.
For the
Thanks,
people,
guys.
thank you. And I'll be talking
Thank you.
about the cross
Thank you.
thing right
Let's do
now.
it that way. Thank you.
Thank you.
The little girls and boys thing.
I
Thank
know.
you guys so much. It was great
Thanks.
having you on, and we'll see you soon.
Sounds
Have
great.
fun this weekend,
All
everyone.
right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks. I just do it lamely. So yeah, back to the cross, which is being released this Sunday, June 7th. Let me go back to the artists that are going to be featured on that real quick, since we did it at the top of the show, just to make sure that everything is covered and all the artists are mentioned, to make sure I don't mess anyone's name up. For the cross coming out June 7th, you have Donna Grantis, Kit Blackshire, Mike Scott, Ashley Tamar Davis, Tommy Barbarella, Cassandra O'Neill, Ida Nielsen, Sonny Thompson, Chris Bailey, Kirk Johnson, Frederick Yane, Josh Dunham, Dr. Fink, Levi Caesar, Adrian Crutchfield, Lynn Grissett, Marcus Anderson, Michael Nelson, Kenny Holman, Joey Rayfield, Steve Strand, Mono Neon, Morris Hayes, Maite, Tony M, and Chris James. I did invite people on for the show, but this was the statement. The song is just going to be for all to enjoy and hopefully take a moment from all the negativity and separation, not necessary to talk about. It's a simple message and the power of great music performed by those who know it best. On the day of the great one who wrote it, love and peace. For that, there has been no link, but I'm sure as soon as it hits, it'll be everywhere when it comes for that. PaisleyNights.com for the Let's Go t-shirts. Just making sure to get that in. Absolutely. Make sure to support it, because for the money they raise also goes to PRN Alumni. And I'm hoping to have a couple shows, hoping for one show on Friday and then a special show at some time after there's an announcement or something going on. I will be going live. We will be making sure to have a flyer for that. So you guys may be seeing me a couple more times, hopefully, before the events of this weekend. But I'm looking forward to the cross. I've seen some of you guys on social media have been asking for the estate to release music or something to go on. Dave, I'm not sure who it is. It did come from Kirk Johnson, so it may have been Kirk that put this together. Obviously, with it getting out the way that it has, I'm not sure how much involvement, if any, the estate has with that. So, but I know there's other things you guys want to talk about, a set list that got out, or not a set list, an upcoming release that may or may not be true. Allison, if it's a concert or one song, I'm not certain. I would believe it's one song. I'm not certain on that. They've been pretty tight-lipped on that info. And Michael, yes, we will be having something to talk about Sign of the Times Deluxe. I just wanted to make sure that we had this time to give to Jacqui for PRN Alumni and Dustin and Mark for the event this weekend for the 24-hour dance party. So Keely, it's probably the same question that Dave answered of the producer of who the music director is on that. It's been a really tough couple of months. And then on top of it, the past 10 days have been quite ridiculous in so many different ways and hurtful ways. I'm hoping that we can do it. Dave, not so certain of that. I know you're bringing up questions, especially with Deliverance, you know, on how they're putting it out. If it's a free release or if it's something else, we don't know those things at this time. And then we'll be checking in more on it. But I want everyone to try to look out for each other, take care of each other. You know, you don't have to hit up everyone with what's going on right now. Sometimes you have to take care of yourself first. But try to let people know in different ways that you're thinking of them and that they're not alone in this struggle. And those are the things that we have to do. Someone brought up about it feeling like the 1960s again. I think we're even further back than that. And that hurts my soul as someone who, you know, was raised more by Black people than his own people. And then someone that was a bodyguard for Dr. Martin Luther King to be one of the people that watched over me growing up. It's just difficult to see that the struggles that they went through, that the generation after them and themselves had to go through it. And it's just hurtful. And we have to find a way to make these changes and teach these changes and have maybe conversations that we're not comfortable having. But maybe it's time to have those uncomfortable conversations and just make things better. Have clarity. Speak up for everyone, not just when you are being attacked or your rights are being taken away. Because eventually it will be your rights. You know, you got to see things. You can't be this whole love, see no color thing anymore. You have to see color and see differences and see how people are treated and how unfair it is. You know, and I don't want to just go on it. I just want to say that, and I just appreciate you guys. And I've been trying to have this forum be for you guys because I know that you need it. So I'm just sending you a lot of love. Thank you guys for tuning in live. And thank you guys for listening on the other platforms. It means a lot. I hope that this helps things for you. Much love. Until next time, keep it funky, y'all.